In this video, I want to share with you an incident that happened just 2 days ago when I was taking a flight. I actually left my phone right here on top of the self-check-in machine. I only discovered that my phone was missing when I was at the hand luggage scan area. I was putting my items up on the tray at the airport, only to find that, hang on, where's my phone? This experience proved that when you can call up the courage is very often not required. And for those of you who are into manifestation, you have heard of Neville Goddard's NOT Technique. And this is also a demonstration of that as well. I was sharing the whole incident about how I misplaced my phone and how I eventually found it to a good friend of mine, Tim. He knows the kind of work life that I go through. We do a lot of the same things. He was like, my friend, losing your phone is like death for people like us. How are you so chill about it? The whole incident went about like this. I was checking in for my flight with my daughter, and then I was looking for the flight reference number. I found it. We then had to scan our passports to get the flight data into the system. So that's when I left my phone on the counter. I scanned my passport, my daughter's passport. We got our boarding passes because we had no check-in baggage for this trip, just like a weekend getaway to a nearby place. So that's how I possibly left it very carelessly on the top of the self-check-in machines. And later on, when I found it was missing, I went to get a pass. I already had past immigration, right? So I could go back out there to locate my phone. I went first to the check-in counters. I saw a huge group of Chinese tourists over there. I was like, oh God, my phone was not there. I asked the staff if they had come across any phones. They said, no phone has been returned. Why don't you go over there to the lost and found? Even going to the lost and found was kind of like a wild goose chase because I was told to go to row 8, it says around there. And at row 8, I asked for some directions. They said, oh, you're supposed to go down to level 1. After I went to level 1, they said, what are you doing here? It's up there on level 3. It's like where I came from. I asked around further, and eventually I found out where the lost and found counter was. My phone was not there. The only item that was returned, a traveler's neck pillow. I asked them, could you call the number for me? And they said that the phone is ringing, but it just has not been returned. So just take this number. This is for the lost and found counter. You could try and call us just before you leave for your flight. Or if it doesn't get returned, maybe when you're back from this trip, call us and we'll let you know if we found anything. When I was walking back, I was thinking, I don't want to keep my daughter waiting too long. She was like waiting at these benches after the immigration. What was going through my head at this point of time was like, I was really looking forward to watching some of the episodes I downloaded on Netflix. I'm just going to check out the counters once again. But as I walked there, I was thinking, hey, then again, I do have an older phone in my bag. And although the earphones for this one don't fit, I could link up my work Bluetooth headset to my older phone. I should be able to hook on the Wi-Fi, download these episodes, and watch them all the same. And as for work, I don't really think I'm going to be getting much work calls or whatever over the weekend. Plus, if I informed my coworkers that my phone is missing, then probably I could finally have some me time or family time uninterrupted over the weekend. As these thoughts went through my mind, I felt free. Here's the irony. As I walked up to the self-check-in counters where I left my phone, I found my phone right there again. So I went there previously, it was not there. I went to the lost and found, I had them call my phone. They said it was ringing, but it's just not returned. I went back there, my phone was placed back at the counter. Previously, when I first got there, it was a huge crowd of tourists checking in, and that's when my phone was not there. I asked the staff and they didn't know about it. But when I came back again, the phone was right there. I didn't notice if it was in a different direction than what I had originally placed it, but the phone was there. I unlocked it. Yeah, it's my phone. Very often, if you muster up the courage for something, the courage is then not required. I would like to talk you through a couple of situations where you might find that this has also been true for you as well. Such as, like when my daughter studies for her school exams, sometimes she's really frustrated about a certain math topic and asks me for help to explain it to her. And after drilling herself on this topic, doing some mock questions, she eventually finds out that it's not even asked in the exam. the other stuff in the exam, she felt like, it was so easy. Why did I even bother preparing this much? Because of the effort that my daughter had put in, the courage that she had mustered up to be able to address this problem, the exam felt so easy for her. And some of you may relate to the experience whereby you prepared so much for a certain interview, only to find that on the interview day, the other people didn't show up and you got selected by default. Or perhaps some of you may have a debt and you gathered your cash to return to the person that had loaned you the funds, only to tell you that, you know what, I don't really need it. You can keep it for now. I'll ask you when I need it. Or perhaps there's sometimes where you mustered up the courage to apologize to someone or to ask for an extension for work to be completed or for money to be paid. And then they're like, it's all right. Or in fact, they may even have a gift for you. So how does this tie in with the Neville Goddard NOT Technique? The Neville Goddard NOT Technique is like you think about what you really want. Think about having something, going to a certain place that you've always wanted to go, or a certain result that you wanted so much. And in the next step, it's about being okay about not having this. Or telling yourself, I don't really want that. I'm fine without it. Even if this didn't happen, I'm okay. But you really, really want it though. So there is a phenomenon, just the same as I do a lot of business negotiations. And it happens so often that, let's say if you want something a lot, you want a deal to happen, but the other person is just not playing ball. One solution that works out so well time and time again is when I just say, you know what, let's just drop this. This is not worth our time. You're not respecting us. You're not respecting, our offering. You're not respecting our company. And you're just, hosing around. I don't know what you're up to, but we're not playing your games anymore. Drop this. We don't want this deal. More often than not, these kind of deals, they come back. And I've witnessed many cases where difficult customers, they would just come back and they would actually pay against an expired invoice. And we've had to clean up that kind of mess a couple of times when they paid up against an invoice that's 2 months before and the prices are not even valid anymore. On the other hand, they'll say we're so sorry. So what's the current offer? We will make up for the difference. An important element of the NOT technique is the abandonment. So it's the abandonment of the attachment that you have to this outcome. When the attachment is not there anymore, and you don't feel bound by it, then when the result comes to you, you're like, well, that was a surprise. I didn't see that coming. I'm happy. This also ties in to a previous video where I talked about success and the importance of failure. Like what people say, you just haven't failed enough times to succeed. You gotta fail more, trying and failing. Because the more you try and the more you fail, you get more and more skilled toward that task that you're trying to do. Like if I want to jump further, if I want to do more pull-ups, or I want a beach body, which I do have now. And ironically, my parents actually got me this shirt. It's funny. Maybe in the beginning, you kind of told yourself that I want to get a beach body in 3 months, or I want to earn X amount of money in a year from now. And a year from the time that you told yourself that, or 3 months from the time that you told yourself, I want to get a beach body, it didn't happen. You began to accept that this is going to take more time. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's just going to take more time. And in that more time, when you repeatedly try to get good at pull-ups to be able to do more in a minute, maybe your goal was to do more than 10 in a minute. In the beginning, when you are starting from zero, from level 1, it is next to impossible. And maybe for the next 1 or 2 weeks, the next 1 month, it could be impossible to even get more than 5 in that 1 minute because you wouldn't be able to hang on long enough. But after a period of time, after you failed enough, what happens is that you gain the amount of strength, you gain the amount of expectation and acceptance of your circumstances that I may not be that now, but it doesn't mean that I won't be that eventually. And when you failed enough times, let's say in business, you get less and less attached to the negotiations that didn't work out, the deals that didn't happen, whatever things that fell through, the people who didn't pay up as they promised. And eventually, when the payment comes along, when you get a big break in your business, you get a big break in your fitness, Perhaps you've been trying to lose weight for months. Like for me, when I had shingles, I slept more and I eased off drinking. 5 kilos that I've been trying so hard to lose all of the last 5 years went away so easily. Tracking back to in the beginning of this video, I was looking forward to watching the downloaded Netflix episodes of anime on the flight. I just want to point out that in animes, in videos, or TV series, and even in history, it's been often shown how certain armies, they're not strong at all. And the soldiers, they're not even brave or courageous. They don't want to fight. They have no more energy to fight. Maybe their ammunition is almost depleted as well. But the one last push where they decided to just put up a strong front, to gather all their men, to look as though they're well prepared and strong, to go to the enemy front, the enemy just backed away. So remember this message. Very often in life, when you muster up the courage for something, it's not even required. And when you want something very much, if you're able to sever your attachment to having this outcome, very often it gets given to you. And for another great video, watch this one over here.